It's Podcast Edo back at it again with another episode of Talking Fun with Edo. With this special of being the 5th anniversary of my 75th video special. For this special, before we begin, we have a sponsor from, once again, myself, of my own book called Who Am I For Real? Growing Up with Edo, Part 1. That is available on Amazon, with also the link to the audio version. And once again, the Q&R code so you can scan the book to have the book or anything special. So, for this special of what I got is from my technically last anniversary of me ranking of what was the best years. I feel this is going to be the best time, just like from the first episode of Self-Talk, to explain them the best way I can. I will say on that note, there will be explained in a way of like first and second place. The first and second place of it being explained in greater detail, and possibly for the third and fourth place is going to just be explained briefly. So, I guess on that note, let's start off the video. Oh, hey everyone. So, welcome to this part where now I get to explain all the places from my 4th anniversary of the reflection of a self-talk version of the podcast. So the very first thing we're going to talk about is the first place of the golden year. So to start off with, I guess like from 26 and 27 is where we kick off the new year of 2023 with a usual start of the brand new years of it, and also within a Q&A with Rib and Malik, which it was really lots of fun. And I would say from that video, this is also where I believe this is also where we were checking out sweets as well. And I would say this was almost practically one of our like last times that we were hanging out, but big shout outs for them for not only coming together for not only for these Q&As and collabs that we did over the times, but also just the podcast in general, which interesting enough is going to be coming in the second part that will be coming soon. Next on this is 28 of Ryan Shover, and this was to the point where I have finished up Full Sail. I just graduated from recording arts. This is when completely for Florida I've graduated in general and came back here to Louisiana. Well, not quite yet. This is just the episode of me doing so before I came here again with Ryan Shover, which as you can see for my Japanese report of the Avengers of Japan, he is featured in it in part 1 and also part 2 that will be coming in later. So with that in mind, we both did projects together, especially I love the work that he does with his stop motions, and he has featured me in a couple of projects that together that we've done as well. So thank you so much for your collaboration, and thanks for also being on my type of videos as well. Next on the list is that we got Word of Man, aka the new Anthony. I know for him it's been quite a while, and I believe last year is when we officially finally did the Q&A, but for our time together, and especially the new type of approach that he's doing for his videos is quite spectacular. So I wish him great luck, and I hope he makes more new videos in the future. Next is episode 30 of my 2nd anniversary special. Now it is interesting that from the last year when I did the anniversary, it was somewhat of the same thing where it was like the anniversary would happen on a 0. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'll explain more of that once the second once that comes by. It was really fun because this is where I did the collab with Bajo Corazon and also Noel Comics, which we had a great time of Q&As of people asking about me and especially the previous guests. Um, Speaking of which, I want to do my best to probably do maybe something like this again. It might be something a little bit different. For like I said, for this special, it's different, but I'll try to do my best to maybe practically do the same thing as far as that year. And not only just that, like if you guys have any other suggestions of what you guys like for me to do in my next anniversary, please comment down below. Up next on the list, this is where I started to add some stuff from my other channels, where this is beginning of my promo channel. This is how we start off with this. It was my demo reel and also my very first book of what I've sponsored earlier in this episode of Who Am I For Real Growing Up with Edo Part 1. And it's honestly insane that it's been around 3 years since I first published this book from that note, and also just promoting it just like always throughout these years has been something else as well. Next we got is Chris Burns Q&A. Would be, if I remember correctly, this would have been around the very first time that I actually not only just sponsored my book, but also sponsored Chris Burns of his own type of work within manga and every other thing that he does as well. I hope he keeps it up with the great work of his own future storytelling. And also on that note, thank you for all the tips that you've shared with me for Japan as well. Because, yeah, he also helped me with that as well, since he was there. Next we got is episode 32 of Giant. Now, believe it or not, when I first started this from practically 5 years ago, Giant has definitely been been the guest I've been wanting to really bring on to the show for a while. And also from what we did from the time of what we were discussing about for it, I really felt like from that time period of what the episode that we have right now, which I am thankful that it is out along with the Thomas Q&A special from also him from Giants as well, is I really felt like the way that we did it at that time, we could have posted this back in the first season of the podcast. Like, it really wouldn't be that bad. You know what I'm saying? For it to be this way, and I will say also, keeping in mind, this is like the time I was also getting new of like how to do sponsors and even how to do like the feature of what you guys now see of myself putting like if I'm over here and there's like another screen over there of somebody I'm talking to, this is where I started to do that, because I think regularly I was just filming the Zoom at just on a regular. James Gilbert has asked us, have we ever collaborated with other past podcasters doing our run of the Learning Shonen podcast?
In terms of that show, no, we hadn't, but I know you collaborated.
I don't think we did.
No, we did. We did.
It was just the three of us.
Yeah, I know. It was just
the three of us talking about stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I often imagine, like, if we were, like, I'm not even sure who we would, especially because it's still, like, at the time, we only had one episode. And then it's like, if we, I don't even know who we even collab with at that time. I don't know, but
I can imagine if we kept it up, we would have had some
people, join in with us. You have to imagine the experience, like if we got other people to come with us to CVI, and it just be like, yeah, we're doing an interview. It's very professional. Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to do that. I'd just be like,
So that was the very first time I was doing that from this. And also, this is within the same year I started to learn how to do sponsors like I'm doing today. So this was really like a great episode for me to have learned about Giants, and also for other people who don't know about them that's outside of Thailand or really loves Thailand music and loves Giants and the whole 9 yards. This is definitely the episode for you guys. And also, there's lots of tributes I've had in this episode as well. And also, subtitles. I would say this would have been the second time I put subtitles into not even just the year itself, but just in general for this podcast right here. So, with that in mind, this is also where we also point for Nicky Pimps as well, because his episode was really interesting, and I know for both him and H-Dub, I am doing my best to try to do a Q&A. I know this has been something that we've kind of been sitting on for a while, but I don't know if it's going to be this episode completely, but later on down the line, either this year or at least next year for sure, we will finally get the Q&As finished up for H-Dub, Nicky Pimps, and also CJ, because I know that's been something I've been sitting on too. The thing is just trying to, like, I guess, like, maybe try to put two things together for CJ, or maybe we'll just do a full-on Q&A. Like, if anybody wants to comment down below of how I should interview CJ, please let me know. Next we got is a guest that was a close friend to Baho, which is Manili. I know I haven't really. He's definitely one of the people I unfortunately couldn't get to do a Q&A and such since I can't find him. But like I said, ironically enough, like once this episode comes out, that might all change. Next we got is let's see. I would probably say this would be my second Halloween special I've actually did, and this is with the anime wrestling duo of the century, Fusion Ha. And on that note, I want to not only thank them for being here, but I also want to thank them for putting me in their podcast as well. And if there's any type of thing, if you guys would like to invite me again or anything similar, I will be down for it. So that's what it is with that. They really had like an amazing story of like how they've gotten into anime, wrestling, and everything in the whole 9 yards. So please check that out. Next we got is the Q&A of Jay Hitori. So within that point, that meant that I've interviewed him last year. If I remember correctly, I think yeah. So this is the moment where this would be. He was my very first guest that I've had for Q&A. I'm sorry. No, oops. He's the second and last. The first one was Chris Burns, and then Jay Hitori was my second one. Sorry about that. He's the second one that I had for that. And it's really interesting because the next thing that would come up would be Callie's Angel for the interview for her, which they're both married now. I wish you guys a successful life and have fun in the near future. Coming up next is another Q&A that I was really trying to get through early this year, but this year we might actually get to it, is Sunny Delightful. She is from the same place I'm from, which is from Atlanta, and she is an up-and-coming musician and a person that does massages, to relax your body, like actually legit massages, you know what I'm saying? So, I wish her all the great work and great health, and I hope this year, if not this year, next year or later down the future, we can do the Q&A together. Next we got is Struggle the Preacher, and he is from Siberia, Russia, and he was also from New Jersey and New York. It was a great time having him. We had a fun discussion about Russia, holidays, and everything as far as music, books, and movies. Like, please check this out. Next we got is another Q&A that I'm really doing my best to really try to get to is John. I hope he is all well from North Carolina. We had a pretty fun discussion, and even me playing with the green screen for Zoom. I think maybe I might bring that green screen back in action. Maybe. Just maybe. Like, you know. Next we got... keep up the good work, John. Sorry. Next we got is Zipsky, or as I call her, Ziplicky. She is an animation, a person that's really good in animation, and as far as late, she is a VTuber as well. So, there is amazing things that we were talking about, and even speaking of which, today it is Meanie Money Day, but I know like once this video, comes out, it'll be later down the line. And once again, that's also where I just finished my Japanese adventure for part 1. So both of those things will not even just be in the link in the description, but also, this is part of the playlist. So that's going to be part of that. And I would say now for our last part of this year that became like a bit of a collaboration is Chris the Movie Maker. For his works, I hope you all are enjoying his works, and also I hope he keeps up the great work as well. And thanks for being here. Like I want to thank you for being here, and you know what? Keep your spirits up high and keep doing your thing, man. Lastly, we got is the last collaboration is the Usual Reflection. I will say this is definitely where I would say this is where I was doing like a lot within this year, possibly more than any other year, but honestly, who knows? Like, probably down this line, there's probably more stuff that's going to be on that note as well. And so that's how we end it. And also, from that note of the collaboration is from the main channel, EDO IV. This is where he would have his 100th video ever. So it was really fun to celebrate with him. And this was also, mind you, this was like we were releasing this in the New Year's, like at the same time. We both had to do double duties at the same time. And I would say also on that note, from that time period, he had 100 subs. And now, from the looks of it, within 2 to 3 years later, now he's up to 200. I hope he keeps doing his best work with that, and I really hope that I'll at least reach 100 really soon. As far as like what I'm seeing right now, I think it might be coming way sooner than later. So that will be it for the first part, which is the golden year. I would say this, interesting enough, this was my personal favorite, not just because this was like where I was doing lots of stuff within that year, but this is where I started to, this is when I believe this is where this podcast really started to grow. I know in a technical way, the very first season is really when it all grew. This is just when like everything was not only coming together, but also it was really getting bigger and it was getting better. This is when I was having like more videos like at this particular time. Pretty much like EDO IV for his golden year. So that's why this is not only called the golden year, but this was also why this was the golden year, and this is why I would say would be in first place. So now that we're finished with that playlist, then this is like first place of the voting thing. We're now going to move into the second place, which is the first year of the second season, and the other one was third season. This is now second place. First place was third season, and right now we're in the second place of the second season. So this is where, we're just make it into the New Year's of 2022. And this is also where, with my guest Drew B, of my very first video that I start off with, is where there's an extra scene of what we did together for my main, the Edo IV channel for his golden year. So it's a bit of a behind the scenes of that, and also learning how to use auto translate, which now, amazingly enough, it's available in all sets of YouTube. Whether not even just watching it here, but like your phone, everywhere of YouTube sorts. And who knows, maybe they might even do that for like future YouTube videos, or even like if you download a YouTube video, it'll just come with captions. Who knows? So that is the start of the new year of 2022. Next we got is our friend Lynchpin. This is a person that I unfortunately really couldn't get to do Q&As, but it is up to him to do so, if he really wants to or not. I did have a really great time talking to him, and I also want to say within him and Deb, and also another friend that put these two together, that had me meet them in this center of the world from Korea. Kamsahamnida. And fighting. Next we got is the episode with Rib and Malik. From last time, this is how we would get the Q&A, is for them to be part of my podcast, and they really have interesting stories of what they're doing for a living. And I know for sure, like right now, they're already killing it within their dreams. So please check that out. And next on our list is that we got is from the main channel is my anniversary special, which is right after the golden year. This would be the 4th anniversary special, which I believe that was the milestone. That was the milestone one where we all got together and we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do, like how we were going to celebrate all of our channels. Now I know at this time, Promo channel didn't really have a channel yet, but this is where he started to be part of the conversation. And also Game Show Edo was part of this conversation as well. There might be more to this video, so please enjoy our deleted scenes. Here we go. Thing I did. So I've had 4 guests overall, and for this one I would say this is, I guess, a kind of upgrade. I definitely do want to have like more guests and stuff. I would say for the second year, I was actually thinking we probably all, like maybe Zoom wise, like all the guests I've had for the first year, we probably all get together, like probably here, not like in person, and just probably, I have no idea, maybe like talk about our favorite moments.
What if we all your guests, we just ask you questions?
Oh, for the second year, so like my first year guests are asking me questions?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll honestly keep that in mind. So anybody that's like watching, especially any of the first years or anything like that, I'm definitely like, it's been not too long, but I'm definitely open for another Q&A. That wouldn't be so bad. This is the year where I really don't even know how we necessarily for Edo for him to get 100 to 200 subs. I don't know how we did it, but for me, this is where this is how we start to do the Q&As for all the previous guests that was here like a year before or even more. So that's how we came up with that idea, was this episode right here. So yep, that's another thing for you all to check out. Next we got is Jay Hitori, which this was where we started before the Q&As. And I would say for him, I've known him for quite some time. And even I would say the same with Chris Burns, even though we didn't really necessarily talk in person or anything of the sort, we have seen each other in passing. And also on that note, with both of them in mind, I hope they keep up the great work and, keep doing your thing, guys. Next we got is another guest that I couldn't really get to for Q&As, but I hope she is doing well. This is, believe it or not, this is actually the video that really garnered a lot of attention, which is my Natsumi Uta interview. You know, she really, this was the video that really blew up a lot. And not only just that, but this was the one where we were trying to get to it, but we just couldn't. But it's okay either way. So I hope she's really doing great at what she's doing. And, you know, keep up the smile, Natsumi Uta. Jana. Next we got is, so this is where we officially got the Q&A, technically the Q&As. I did remember somewhere this year, like, I wanted to do a little bit something different, or at least better for the Ain't Pay 18 for Q&As, because we didn't really get any questions, so I had to really improvise. But I feel with, like, for the years leading up to this right now, I feel like he is doing his best for Q&As as a whole. But if the Ain't Paying 18 himself wants to reach out and for us to quote unquote do the Q&As this year, I am definitely open to it. So, and with that in mind, I want to say, you know, happy anniversary to him, because and also, believe it or not, he was my very first guest that I was really trying to get when Giant wasn't available. So I want to really thank him so much, because he was really a great first guest, and we really had like a cool time talking. Next we got is the very first anniversary of this, which is, I believe this is episode 20, and this is where we have the introduction to Bajo Corazon. At the time he was called Downheart, but this is the introduction to him, and I believe this was like not the first, but this is definitely the definitive time that I had to put the warning sound that, as usual, it goes as. That's how this started. I would say this is I think third time. This was the third time for sure. And for his work of music and all the upcoming projects ahead, I hope he keeps doing his thing and, you know, kick it around. Next we got is the Christina Yu Q&A. And this was really fun, because I would say, if I remember, this is where we did this not only on Skype, but she also collaborated within my Berries Kobo Factory project as well, which was really fun. So I hope she's doing the best work with not only her cosplay, but everything of the sort. Next we got is the International Channel for Life and Noel's Comics Q&A special, which it was like, I would say that was definitely one of the longest episodes we've done. I think this is probably maybe the first, if not so, then it would have been the Noel comics from the first season. That would have been it. But we really had a great time of talking about just everything as far as anime, you know, Asian music, and even, I would say, Cartoon Network. This is where we were talking about that, and Toonami, of the whole 9 yards. So I hope both of them are still keeping up the great work of what they're doing, and I want to thank them a lot for coming here, especially for International Channel to, you know, actually, you know, we get to see what he really looks like, and he looks awesome, you know? Next we got is the documentary I did. This is actually a Full Sail project, believe it or not, but this also made it into the podcast of me talking about Tyler, the Creator, for 5 minutes. And for that project alone, from Full Sail itself, they have gave me a 95, and I not only want to thank Full Sail for that, but also, like, you know, thank you guys for having me there for that time. And I believe this is like around this moment where this is like my second, my practically my last year within Florida, aka Full Sail as a whole, before my graduation. So this was a really fun project too. Also, if I remember correctly, I was filming this in California just so to fit the aesthetics. Thank you, Ugu Bugu, for letting me do my project there. All right, so second to last thing that we got on this list is the last Q&A special, and this is where I would say this is the first, but maybe not last, of the years where I had the Q&As of everybody that I've had, and I finished them all in one sitting, where we got a duo of Matt Tack and Drew B. And this is where it was really fun. And I believe this was also how, like, the third season, this is how the new year started off. Also with a good friend of mine of Donnie as well. So that was pretty cool. And from that note of the Q&A is just some silly shenanigans, what we talked about, Cartoon Network and everything in the whole 9 yards. So that was a really pretty fun time there. And for our last part of this is that we got the milestone of EDO IV and also my own reflection, which, interesting enough, this is where EDO IV called for us to have like a meeting where we got to eat this particular cookie while also explaining what was our favorite thing that we did in that year, and which was really fun. And I love that I also got to eat the last part of the cookie to even savor the moment as well. If I remember correctly, now that I think about it, I just remembered that the other year is where I think Edo IV did that. Edo IV was the one that did that. Right. So that will be it for second place of the second season. I would say this was my personal second favorite because this is where I was finishing up all the Q&As, while at the same time it practically almost became what the next season was, which was like having multiple new guests in the whole 9 yards. So now we're going to move on to the second to last part that's in the third place, which is the anniversary halfling. So this is where I'm going to practically do my best to explain this briefly. So, since this is third and fourth place. So I will say one of my favorite episodes off the bat were the ones that, like, if you see for a good majority of these were like recommended to Jay Hattori, which I appreciated that he was looking out for me for that. And this is where we had not only some new guests, but we were doing some new things too. Also, big shout out to Blurred City Podcast for not only me interviewing them, but also vice versa of them interviewing me. That was really a great time. This is where I would believe this is the complete collab came from of Edo IV and myself. And this is where we did a mix-up of what we usually do. Like for me, my video would be the same as an Edo IV video of the bloopers and stuff. And then for him, he would be doing this stuff like the podcast. We kind of like flip sides in a way. Next we got for this that was really cool was the Matt 4MD special, which was really cool, and we just recently just did the Q&A. So please not only check out this from the playlist, but also please check out our Q&A that we just finished as well. On the next part of list is the other MARIAH. We also just finished with her along with Baho. So that was really dope. Also on this note is Creative's Corner, is that we did a really cool collaboration, and I hope everything will really work out well for you, my friend. This was really a great collab with not only just the interview itself, but also our Q&A. So thank you for being there, and keep up the great work of not only your books, but everything of the sort. Next we got is the big picture special, and just last year I just did the Q&A with him, and it was really fun to be a part of something that was really indie and making a resurgence from Canada. Just big W's for them for that. And hope with all the members of the big picture and Benny himself will do their best to keep up the great work and new other projects up ahead. Now for this anniversary, this is where this is really special. Speaking of anniversaries, is where this would be our 5th anniversary with not just me, but also with Sheik and Gusty Point of our Learning Shonen podcast. This is where we got together and we did a Q&A, and we had a good chuckle like we've done from before. And to also keep in mind, with that was how I was inspired to do this podcast, as you see right here. It still trips me out that I was the one that came up with it, because I really could have sworn that Sheik was the one that came up with it, but they said it was my idea, and this is how that idea, I believe 5 or 7 years ago, I believe, would now be put into here. So I want to thank you guys so much for not only doing this collaboration of Q&As, but also giving me the idea to do this. So thank you guys so much. I would say the last things that we got on this list is the usual Q&As of Ryan Shever, Chris the Movie Maker yet again, Zipski, and also the biggest thing that I loved of what we did is not only we did the Q&A, but we also did a birthday special of detailing the best moments I could for her birth year from Japan. And also, speaking of which, Callie's Angel is that we did practically the same thing. And she was born around 2 years before Zipski. So I thought that was pretty cool and wholesome. And to end off this year is where this is not only we finished. I forgot if I said Struggle the Preacher earlier. Text box, please help me if I did. So this is where we would do the Q&As for Struggle the Preacher. We finish off with that. And this would be the usual time where I not only do my usual reflection, but also this is where Storytime Edo, aka the promo channel, would make his appearance. So that was really nice that he got to share his special routine of the reflection with us, with me, Edo IV, and yeah. So I guess this is how we end the years for the 3rd place of, I believe this is season 4. That was really a pretty cool time. I will say that was a really, really great time. That was where I know it wasn't as grand as last year, but it was darn near close. And then the last place we got is season 1 of my podcast. This is what will be last place, but it was amazing because this was the year where not only this is where we start off, but also this was released around the same time I was doing the golden year. So in a way, I actually would be this would be first place technically, but for here, as far as the votes go and just usual, it's last place. But this is the start of the seed of everything, where I did my usual episode. This is where I got to introduce all the guests that were there that I got to interview within the next year of the Q&As. And also even partaking in the part of the, not only Edo IV, but also his Japanese reports. This is literally where everything has started. And this is where I was also, I guess, trying my best to do the self-talk. I really tried. I don't think that was really for me. I think overall that was more of Edo IV's thing. But I mean, hey, if I happen to do it again, this will probably be on a different note. It might be might be an April Fool's special again. But yeah, this is where we all started with everything. And also on my first season, this is where we have all 3 of the episodes of the Learning Shonen podcast, which is now no longer age restricted, but also keep in mind this is where we were talking about things that's a bit explicit. And speaking of which, this is the year where not only I get to introduce everyone, but I also get to introduce this sound once again that goes... that warning sound. And this was usually when this was a conversation that couldn't necessarily be filtered or anything of the sort. And this is where, this is where we were not only introducing this, but also here was another thing that was also being introduced as well. My very own, this is also where I got the ring light. So this right here, that year, even though it was the last year, this was definitely the year that started off everything. So I want to also say that thank you for you all for watching, not only this far to the end, but I guess now is to the point where we now get to the shoutouts from myself within another part. So thank you all for listening to me explaining all the years the best way I can. And now let's get into the ending shoutouts from myself once again. See ya! Well, I hope you enjoy my explanation of how I explain the years of my podcast. And on that note, if there's any other years or episodes you would like for me to discuss here on the podcast channel, please comment down below. And also, my post, in case you haven't seen that, also will be there as well. So, before we end this special of the 75th 4K video 5th anniversary special, what we got is that we have the shoutouts that have gone to. Also, before we begin the new shoutouts, for as far as the old shoutouts, is going to be everybody that was mentioned within the playlist. If not even just the people I interviewed, but also the people I have shouted out within those episodes as well. So now let's get into the new shoutouts of the 5th 4K anniversary. Here we go. MV Chan the Man, Rosey Racer, Seaweed, Jasistaken, Colin, Suzane Lambert, King Sung Yoon, Ginger, The Korean Dish, and a brand new suburb of Theetmp. So what is coming up for the podcast is I have another episode coming up with a family member of mine of my Uncle Conway. That is going to be the next episode coming up. Along with that, with this anniversary special comes in the Q&As of, for me, not only finishing up the 2 interviews that I did last year, but also doing my best to finish up other ones. And as far as that note is to do brand new interviews as well. So keep on the lookout for that. I hope you all enjoyed this episode, especially this special. And as usual, you all, I'm going to see you next time. Bye! Talking Fun with Edo Podcast.
Coming up next, the Apang 18. We'll be right back. Keep it here.